Afternoon guys, happy Easter Sunday. Hope everybody's staying safe, staying out of harm's way and looking after themselves. I say afternoon because it's now 12 p.m. I've had a bit of a lazy day today. Didn't get up till about 7:30 or something like that, 7:45 this morning. That's a lie-in for me. Just kicked around the house basically. Didn't have a lot of motivation today, but I've came up to the allotment now. I got the birds fed and watered and one thing and another. Obviously not this late, but I've just sat down now to have a cup of coffee. And I've been replying to a number of texts. I've been getting quite a lot of inquiries about the racing pigeons now, so it looks like people now being in the lockdown have more time to spend with the birds, and now they're sort of starting to look for stock birds. And I really do need over the next couple of weeks to get my numbers down so that I can maybe even do some breeding at the latter end of the back year on some of the project birds that I'm working on. So if I can sell a few of these, it helps to pay for the pigeon corn and keeps my hobby ticking over. So yeah, I've had a number of questions today around the birds, so I'm not sure if I'm just going to have this cup of coffee today and maybe just go in and start sorting through the birds and see what I'm keeping and what I'm going to let go. I need to make a start, and I'd like to keep them all, but I don't want to overcrowd the lofts. I never have and I never will. I would rather have an empty loft with 5 or 6 pigeons in it that's healthy and room and capacity to breed than have a loft full of beautiful pigeons that I can't do anything with. So yeah, okay. So I might just do that today. I'm also toying seriously with pulling the lawnmower out again because I can't believe how well the grass has grown. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, guys, but I'm going to get a little bit of exercise of some sort. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I'm just in the middle of deciding which way to go with this. But either way, we'll bring you along and let you see what or if I get anything done. And I also want to give another shout out to the people who are appear to be lesser recognised among this COVID pandemic, and that's our posters and the bin men, van drivers and delivery drivers. They tend to not be getting the recognition that they deserve. Without those services, of course, the world would be in a poor state. It really would. So a massive thanks to those guys as well. I know I haven't mentioned you specifically in other videos, but when key workers, you are key workers, of course, and the thanks was meant at that time, but a special thanks now, guys. Stay safe and we'll catch you later. Bye. So this is the shed I've decided to clean out. This is where all the hens, female pigeons, are kept. Basically, I didn't feed them today purposely so that I could get the loft cleaned out, put them in the aviary, and then when I do get the loft cleaned out, they'll come back in ready for the food, and then we can get a bit of video footage on that for you. So I've got the grills outside, entire floor lifted up. They're not that bad. I won't be pressure washing them today. It's all bone dry, all scraped off, so fine, yeah. So just inside the shed, all cleaned out, all swept out, all ready for the new shavings and the floor to go back down, guys. So we'll give you a look at that when we got it sorted and a quick look at the birds. Catch you later. Okay guys, so we're all cleaned out now. As you can see, the birds are now having the feed. I've had to cut the feed back drastically on these birds. They were throwing more under the floor than they were eating. Also, all these in here are hens, female pigeons, but they are so keen to breed. They're actually pairing up with each other and laying eggs. But we really need to cut the feed back. I've been having a quick think, and some of the rarer colours, or the more the project birds, I'm at least trying, like the frill stencils and the barless and the reduced and the milky. I'm thinking about a few select pairs, letting the ones that I want hatch, but moving youngsters onto other pairs, so they all have one youngster each. That keeps them going through their cycle, which they really want to do, and it keeps it down to a minimum and only breeding the rarer colours that I actually want. So that's just an idea I'm toying with at the moment, guys. A beautiful reduced hen there, as you can see, and then I have a nice hen. I really want to get her paired up to one of the barless cocks. She's the only ice pigeon I have. And she's getting on in her years as well, by the way, so I haven't managed to get a youngster out of her yet. This milky check, I also haven't had any youngsters out of her yet. So yeah, I'm really in a bit of a dilemma. Nice almond hen there, a lot of my almonds have came from that hen. And we have another frill stencil hen there. Never got any eggs out of her last year. Unfortunately she never laid an egg, but she's been party for 6 months more now, so we might try her back with her with the frill stencil cock that I have and see if I can get a couple of youngsters off them, because she's getting on in her years now and all. I'm not even sure I'll get any eggs out of her, but we can only try. I do have youngsters off the cock with an indigo hen, because she wouldn't lay. So that's all I have off the frill stencils, and I'm really hoping I can, now that she's had a good rest, we might get even 2 eggs off her. We can perhaps give it a try later in the season. But yeah, it's just a quick update on these birds, guys. These are all females, as I say in here, and I really am tempted to just pick a select 1 or 2 and let them have some youngsters with the birds that I want, letting all the other pairs pair up as well, but then just taking the eggs when they hatch and floating them under the other birds, so they're all only rearing 1 youngster each. That lets them go through their natural cycle and keeps the number of birds that are breed down to a very bare minimum. I do have space for I have empty lofts, but I didn't really want to start because I know I like to keep going once I've started. Nice brown barless there next to the milky and the almond. The bronze bars are the little Trigonino. I have another opal hen, opal pied hen in there. A really nice almond that I purchased in from Holland last year. I had a nice youngster or 2 out of her last year, and they sold very quickly. A nice brown check hen there. So yeah, oh, a nice indigo bar hen here as well. She's normally paired to the white bar cock that produces the white bars. So yeah, just a quick look in the loft, guys. It's another job, as they say, and I'm a happy chappy. That's them sorry for another 4 weeks or more. Catch you later, guys. Bye. Okay, guys, so as you can see, a complete turn of events. I decided that I needed exercise more than I needed anything, to be honest with you. And I've got so much, there's always something to do. That's the beauty about up here. There's always something to do. So one of the lofts where the hens were, I just showed you earlier in the video, it wasn't really ready for being cleaned out, but I thought, you know what, let's just get all the floor up, get the entirely cleaned up, swept out and everything, get the new bedding down, and that's good for 4 to 6 weeks really, which is about how long I get out of it. I mean, and even then it's not bad. 2 bags of muck, and that was it. And as I said, one had a lot of feed among it, so I wouldn't be composting that because the seed would start to germinate. So the other bag is manure, and that's just going to be stored ready to go in the compost bins when I get the grass clippings and all the rest of it. So yeah, I decided I would clean that shed out, and I actually feel much better for the exercise, ironically. And it gives me a sense of satisfaction knowing that, yeah, that's another one done, and it's good for 4 or 5 weeks. So I done 2 yesterday, and I've done 1 today. That's three biggish lofts yesterday. So that's, you know, and that's in 2 days. So they're all good now for another 3 or 4 weeks each of them lofts. I do often find myself going round again, and then even when they're not that bad, because I think I don't know when's the next time I'm going to get a chance to do it, I'll just clean them out like I just did today. So anyways, that's that done. But I really do have a dilemma, and I know it's contradictory from what I said earlier in the video about not breeding. I really am missing the breeding side of things with the racing pigeons, because I've had racing pigeons since I was 7 years old. And this is the first year ever I've never bred any racing pigeons, or pigeons in general. And I have a couple of projects like the Milky and the Ice and the Frill Stencil in particular that I really would like to get underway, because last year I never got the opportunity. I got a couple of youngsters off the Frill Stencil cock, but of course you get no visuals in the first nest. And I really would like to get some youngsters out of the Frill Stencil cock with the Frill Stencil hen, as it's the only pair I do have. And they're the only two visuals I have. Now the hen's getting on a bit in the years, and when I purchased them in last year, I paid 300 quid for the pair, and I never got an egg. So needless to say, I was a bit disappointed. The hen didn't lay at all. She was going through all the motions but never laid an egg, and I'm kind of thinking that might be the reason why they were sold. Anyways, however, the cock paired up with an indigo hen, or rather he paired himself up with an indigo hen afterwards when his own hen never laid. And we took two youngsters off them. I got a black hen and I got an indigo hen out. Now both those two youngsters will carry the Frill Stencil gene, so they're a part of the project, and paid back to the father potentially will produce a very small percentage of Frill Stencils, but either way they'll all be carrying the Frill Stencil gene on those offspring. If the worst case scenario, the Frill Stencil hen doesn't lay again this year. She has had 6 months now away from the cock without any harassment, and it may be that she was overbred from before, but she's had a good rest now, so I'm hoping and keep my fingers crossed. If I pair her back this year, we'll get some eggs out of her. Even 2 or 4 youngsters would be really good. They would not be for sale, by the way. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a dilemma, and I'm really tempted, because the birds are really missing out on the natural cycle, to pair the birds up, being careful on how many, and then only from the birds that I really want to get youngsters for my projects. Because all the pigeons lay 2 eggs each, or 2 eggs a pair, what I can do is basically put pot eggs under the ones I don't really want them off, and they're no wiser. They're going through the cycle and they're happy, and they're with the females, so it keeps them happy. And then at the point of hatching, take 1 egg that's due to hatch and put it under a pair that would normally not hatch. And by distributing the few pairs that I do want to breed from, putting 1 egg under all the other pairs that I don't want to breed from, they still go through the natural cycle and rear in a youngster that's not theirs. However, they believe it is, and everybody's happy. So I am really struggling to hold myself back on this, and I'm still not sure I'm going to do it, but it's just something I'm toying with, guys. So I'm back in the shed now, and I'm having another cup of coffee. Keep myself hydrated. I'm not going to rush today and pair the birds up. I'm going to have a think about it. I really am. I'm getting a couple of inquiries, as I said earlier in the video, about people wanting to purchase some. So obviously if I move some of those, that frees up some space, and we can gauge how many we can breed or not. However, anything I do decide to breed will probably be only getting kept anyways for stock for myself. 1 or 2 may become available for sale, but it's because I'm only going to be taking the youngsters off the select pairs that I really want myself. There's a good possibility that there wouldn't be anything for sale anyways, and anything that I do breed would just be for stock in the first instance. So yeah, watch this space, guys. I really don't know what I'm going to do, but if I do decide to breed a few, we'll obviously take some video footage of that for the pigeon fancy fanatics that's out there, and the guys who are subscribed to the channel that enjoy the pigeon videos as well. Of course, I'm not going to forget about the garden or the polytunnel, and we just bit by bit, slowly but surely wins the day. So we'll have a think about that, guys, and we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay guys, so as you know, I'm all about trying to make life easier in the long run. I know it doesn't seem that way with the amount of things I do up here, but going forward, under here, where the under the aviaries basically is where I am. And as you can see, because the manure falls through, the grass grows extremely thick. I'm not sure how much the wind's affecting this, guys. You can see the grass grows extremely thick. So what I've decided to do, I've started trimming this back now, and I've came up with an idea to get some ground cover on here. And basically what I'm going to do is going to put some of the weed membrane down when I get it cut back, and then I'm going to actually box it off by running a piece of wood from here to here, and likewise from here to here. And then I'm going to fill it with bark chippings, or not fill it, but I'm going to put a cover of bark chippings down there to keep the grass back and the weed. One, it'll be no further cutting, and that's always a bit of a tedious job because, sorry about the wind guys, as I say, it can take me 20 minutes or more just to cut under here with the strimmer. So if you times that by everything that's underneath the landing here and all the other sheds over there, and that aviary over there, and this one down here, it takes quite a considerable amount of time out of your day just cutting underneath these after you've finished with the lawnmower. So I'm going to box them all in, guys, put ground membrane down and throw a few bark chippings on, and then what will happen is as the manure falls through there, it'll basically start decomposting on top of there, and then it can just be shoveled off periodically and go into the compost bins. So I'm trying to make life a little easier again, guys. So this is the next thing I'm on with now, because every year I get fed up of cutting underneath there. It's awkward, so it makes sense to just cover it over, guys. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm making a start on that now. Catch you later, guys. Bye. Guys, so it's 5 o'clock now. I'm not sure how well you can hear this because the wind's got up a lot now. So basically what I've done is cleared a couple of the areas under these aviaries here, and I've got the membrane down now, which already will start to kill back those weeds and nettles, etc. that was growing up there, becoming an absolute pain having to trim them out and get underneath that aviary, and likewise with this one. So we've got those all pinned out now for now, and of course there's wooden framing to go around there shortly. Of course there's no hardware stores open now, so I'm going to have to make use of some of these old bits of wood and timber that I've got lying around for the framing. But as you can see, I never got that one cut back, we didn't have time. But I just want to give you an idea. I managed to get one finished, so this is going to give you an idea roughly of what it is I'm trying to achieve, which will hopefully make life go a little bit easier from here on in. Now, to me, the total cost of this was about 10 quid, including the membrane and the wood chip. I've had to use some second-hand boards, which I wouldn't normally do, but we have to make use of what we've got in these days. So here you go, guys. This is roughly what I'm aiming for underneath each of the aviaries. And as you can see, I'm using wood that's seen better days and well past its sell-by date. But at the moment it's doing its job, it's holding that in place, in essence, and it gives me an edge to cut up against after the lawnmower's been on. So basically this is what I'm aiming for, guys. I just want to blanket out underneath the aviaries. Obviously the pigeon manure will fall down onto that, and it can all be scraped up at the back end of the year and taken down to a low level, and then it can be used for manure and composting. So yeah, I mean, like I said, including the wood chip, we're looking at a total of about 10 quid here, maybe 12 if you count the metal pegs I put in there to hold the membrane down as well. But I think you'll see, you get the general idea of what it is I intend to do with each of these, and the cost sort of is irrelevant, because even though it's a minute cost, it's going to make life so much easier and so much less hassle me trying to get underneath there with strimmers and things like that. Although I did try to make them as high as I could and make it so that getting a lawnmower under and one thing or other would be okay, I still couldn't really get at it. So I'm hoping this is going to be a better idea, guys, and help going forward. Let me know what you think in the comments, and that's it now, guys. It's 5 o'clock. I've been here a bit longer than I would have liked, but once I get started on these things, I just keep going and then get lost with the time. So I hope you enjoyed today's videos, guys. Please comment in the sections below. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And we'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe, everyone. Catch you later, bye. Okay guys, so I decided to do a final roundup. I'm just having a cup of coffee because basically I'm dehydrated. So the wind has got up. It's absolutely ridiculous. You'll probably hear it in a minute. I don't know where it came from. I wasn't aware it was forecast for gale force winds today. But it's got up absolutely ridiculous, and it was becoming a bit of a struggle to get the membrane down. I managed to get some down, as you see, and I'm just hoping the pegs will hold it in place. They're braiding fairly tight, so they should stay put, hopefully. So yeah, when I went out, got the strimmer out, and I thought I'd better make a start on this grass underneath the aviaries. It's getting really, really bad. And it became apparent after doing just the first one even, just how much of a strain on my back it is getting under there with the aviaries, getting under the aviaries now with the strimmer. And then my back was starting to ache again, and I thought there's got to be an easier way than this. And whilst I was pausing for thought, I thought, you know something, if I put some weed membrane down underneath there and box it in like I have, throw some wood chip on top. I know I said bark chip earlier, but wood chip, because basically it'll decompost as well along with the pigeon manure. If I set those up now, it'll hold all the grass back and kill it off underneath the aviaries. Saves me having to get under there periodically every time I cut the grass and strip it out. A massive time saving that will be. But more so, I'm also going to make use of the manure that the pigeons produce from the outside as well as the inside. And all that will be handy going forward on the garden for composting. Now obviously we will need nitrogen, extra nitrogen there, because there's a lot of wood chip. And that's where the grass clippings will come in handy through the summer. So I thought, well, let's just do one and see how we go. Anyways, I got carried away as I normally do, and I decided, I cleared under the two small aviaries, got the membrane down on there, and that was it. There was no stopping me. And then I decided, okay, right, I'm going to finish the strimming under that one that I videoed, that I got finished. Got the membrane down in there after I'd finished strimming, and decided, well, now the membrane's down, this is only 2 pieces of wood, go and find a couple of scrap pieces of wood. And that's what I did. I went and found 2 scrap pieces of wood, got those screwed on. As I say, they're a temporary measure, but there's no hardware stores open, so I can't get any timber. And I do have a lot of wood lying around in the pen. I'll get a few months out of it, in 12 months in some cases. It's lying there doing nothing. It might as well be put to good use. It gives me an edge, and it's a retainer for the wood chip, so yeah, we'll use it. Needs most. So I boxed that off on top of the weed membrane, put a few metal pegs in to hold the membrane down underneath in the first instance, and then the wood chip that I used for cleaning the birds out with, I had a brand new bag in the shed. Now I know the shops are open again now to get more, so I've used about 2/3 of one of those bags, and they're about 6 or 7 quid a bag or something like that now. So I just put a thin layer down, just to cover the membrane, basically hide the membrane. And I think you've got to agree, it makes a really tidy job. But like I said, more importantly, at the back end of the year, that can be left now, and then at the end of the year, I can, if it gets really deep, I can scrape a layer off and put it in the compost bins, and it can be used on the garden. I think it'll take a while to get to that level, of course, but so that's an even bigger bonus. So with the scrap wood that I have lying around, it's really only the cost of the membrane and the wood chip that's going to be any costs involved. But to me, even if it was costing me 50 quid per aviary underneath, the time that it's going to save me and the pain in my back from getting underneath there and strimming them down 20-30 times in the year during the summer period, that's going to make it well worth a while. So yeah, it was just another idea that came up with, guys, and I thought maybe if anyone else is having a similar problem where awkward areas where they're strimming and whatever. I probably should have thought of it a lot earlier, but we didn't. So I have now, and we'll be concentrating on getting those all finished off, so that it's going to minimise the work in the garden area, and of course the ride-on mower will do 99% of it now. There will still be some strimming to do, but it'll probably minimise it. I might even go around with a little border around the outside of the polytunnel as well, just so that it saves me going up too close with the lawnmower to try and prevent any accidents. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. We'll wait and see. Getting the big areas under the aviary is important, because I'm having to stoop down underneath with the strimmer to get in there, and it's a bit awkward, and even if I use the lawnmower you can't get right to the back with the lawnmower. So yeah, just another update. That's it now for today, it really is. I'm just going to finish this coffee and then I'm going home for some food. So as always guys, stay safe, keep yourself out of harm's way. If you're enjoying the videos, please let me know you're enjoying the videos. Comments in the section will always be appreciated. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and follow me along. If you have the ability to share the videos, please share the videos, and we'll catch you again in the next video. Thanks for watching guys, take care and stay safe. Bye.